Modern conflict is increasingly defined by the absurd. World leaders invoking ancient religious vengeance, tech billionaires tracking the Antichrist, and the state-sponsored breeding of specific religious livestock. In Texas, Christian Zionists are currently funding and raising red heifers, treating these specific animals as high-priority cargo to be shipped to the Middle East for religious rituals. Standard secular analysis, which prioritizes oil, treaties, and borders, fails to account for these anomalies. Understanding the modern Middle East requires looking past the political playbook. The major players are following an apocalyptic script. Global powers are effectively attempting to reverse engineer the end of the world. In this environment, theological literacy is the primary tool for decoding current events. Biblical war policy centers on herem, total annihilation. This mandate targets Amalek, a transhistorical threat to the Israelites. This classification operates as a divine license for total war, removing distinctions between combatants and civilians, framing destruction as a religious duty. Traditional rabbinic law sought to restrain this ideology. The 12th century scholar Maimonides argued that the commandment to destroy Amalek had become practically impossible to follow. Because the original Amalekites can no longer be genealogically identified, Maimonides ruled the commandment nullified for the modern era. Radical modern leaders bypass traditional safeguards. Benjamin Netanyahu repeatedly invokes the memory of Amalek, applying the label to contemporary populations in Gaza and Iran. This weaponized theology justifies extreme civilian casualty rates and provides the ideological foundation for the Samson option, a military doctrine allowing for nuclear strikes if the state faces annihilation. Modern military force is now being sanctioned by the vocabulary of ancient divine vengeance. American evangelicals are currently pushing to build a Jewish Third Temple on the Temple Mount, a move that directly contradicts traditional New Testament teachings. This stems from a 19th century theory called dispensationalism, introducing dual covenant theology, claiming God maintains two parallel contracts with humanity. Here, the rebuilding of the temple is a mechanical precursor required for the Christian second coming. Today, this theory drives a massive political bloc. John Hagee and Christians United for Israel leverage billions to influence foreign policy and fund regional conflict. Christian Zionism functions as a geopolitical grift, treating the displacement of indigenous populations as a transactional requirement for their own religious salvation. The tech frontier adopted its own version of this theology. Peter Thiel and other elites host private summits focused on the Antichrist's arrival. They cite the biblical concept of the katachon, the force restraining the Antichrist. Defense tech billionaires claim their massive surveillance and AI empires serve as this restraint. Islamic tradition offers a counter-warning, the Dajjal, or ultimate deceiver. This figure is described as using reality-bending technology to manipulate the world. By building unchecked AI, deepfakes, and total surveillance architecture, these elites are constructing the exact infrastructure of deception warned about in ancient prophecy. The effort to play God and prevent the apocalypse is providing the tech elite with the very tools required to engineer it. The accelerationist mindset has visible consequences. Global powers are provoking regional conflicts to force these prophecies to align, threatening millions of lives. These manufactured crises serve a psychological goal: to overwhelm populations, induce despair, and trigger a global crisis of faith. Dr. Ali Ataye argues that absorbing political anxiety through constant doom-scrolling is a form of surrender in a spiritual war. The counter-movement is a return to spiritual discipline, logging off, engaging in communal worship, and establishing internal peace. Geopolitical chaos loses its power when ordinary people prioritize spiritual resilience over the manufactured panic of the apocalyptic elite.